Then, depending on your own specific individual usage of these functions, uh, depending on your functions stack, your type, you're supposed to get along more or less smoothly with certain types. And in my case, being because there's nothing, it's not really obvious when just looking at those codes, what's the system, the principle behind. But in my case, I'm supposed to get along especially well with a type called INFJ, and actually it has appeared that throughout my life, those rather few people become close to. Really, they all have appeared to be this type INFJ, and this is not astrology because you need not care about what how your type is labeled or how it's described or something, because you're typed from your own answers, not from how the stars were located when you were born. And the thing is, this type would actually appear to be somewhat distant because there's only the N letter in common. But looking at the actual, because it's like I said, it's just a label. But looking at the functions, you will notice that the stacks are rather similar, and yet in some ways opposite, both dominated by intuition. ENTP is extroverted intuition, INFJ is introverted intuition, which also automatically is supposed to mean that in the other end there's this sensing function which has opposite polarity. So in the case of ENTP, it's supposed to be introverted, and in the case of INFJ, it's supposed to be extroverted. And then there's thinking, feeling, where the polarity is the same one in both cases, but the order of them is switched. One is thinking introverted and feeling extroverted. The other one is feeling extroverted and then thinking introverted. Same polarity, opposite order, place in line, so to say. And yeah, it really appeared to that I have this since many years rock artist Rory Gallagher, and I didn't really have any idea about him as a person. It was more about his music, and I've seen some interviews lately on this World Wide Web thing, and he appears to have been a very pleasant person, nice guy, gentle and kind, and kind of laid back, well, not exactly withdrawn. And he too appears to is usually supposed to have been INFJ, and he really has all this full set that you would associate with this type, including dying at a rather young age. Then another thing appeared when having this more specified test. According to that one, I would use this prime function, this intuition, in both directions, extroverted and introverted as well. Well, in the other end, there's this sensing function, which is supposed to be an introverted one in my case, but according to all tests, use it exclusively extrovertedly. So, along with this feeling before thinking preference, this would be very much in line with this INFJ profile, this function stack. Actually, in some ways, more like that one. And so if you feel it necessary to sort me within one or the other, might not be completely clear whether I'm supposed to type INFJ or ENTP. And really, for some reason, after all, I thought have to decide upon one or the other, where ENTP is more commonly the result I will get, but also what kind of type would be closest. And it appears to be somewhat more like Deathpool and Pennywise, perhaps. But this what I used to get my final answer was the only type that really can stand ENTP becomes friendly with ENTP, or for some third reason, this particular one, INFJ, they are like humble, gentle, kind and caring, rather pleasant people, usually not rough or loud, or usually, because there are those two, and that's really not me. Besides, my point was, it's a bit strange what attracts them to these brutes, these assholes, loud world, and like Deadpool, perhaps. From an ENTP view, it's very obvious because to my own defense and to the defense of other assholes, they are at the core rather nice people, empathetic and caring and that silly stuff. But this, well, really, it's not a big part of the image. This is not anything that they will be bragging about or expose very much. If those sides are perhaps more expressed secretly, so that you will not be associated with such behaviors. So the INFJ naturally brings out the best of the ENTP, and the attraction that way is not very strange. But the other way, why would these black orchids have themselves intoxicated by these brutes? Why would they get all this dirt upon themselves? And maybe that's the answer, that we bring out the worst out of them, those secret sides that they never otherwise would get a chance of living out. And we like whip their inner demon to come out into daylight or something. And yeah, I believe they really enjoy this. Little bitch, you enjoy this, don't you? So when deciding the for my own part which one, ask myself the question, what do I like ENTPs? Because would the answer be yes, I highly like them, then I actually could be no other than INFJ. Except for them, no one else likes them, us. Or they can't stand us, at least. Even if they may be entertaining or something. On the other hand, if the answer is no, theoretically it could be either one of the 15 others, but all things considered, there are only two alternatives. The answer to this question, do you like ENTPs? Yeah, hell no. And this was all the answer I needed to decide upon me being one. And I think it has something to do with ENTP. That's supposed to be me, right? Not all these other guys. They can fuck themselves to hell. Yeah, suck my dick.